So I'm gonna be recording today's presentation so that all of you have a copy of the recording and also the presentation should you request it afterwards, in case you might want clarity on some information that you have missed. We'll receive it, we will send it via email, and also if you request it via WhatsApp, it will also be sent to you. All right. Yes, Liseho, I will share the recording. That's not a problem. Hi, Simtandile, you're welcome. I see Joy D, you just joined in, you're welcome. Sipumelele, you're also welcome. All right, I'm gonna start off and introduce our guest speaker, and then he can take us through the presentation for today. And I just hope that everyone else will be motivated and also be informed about as our guest speaker has mentioned that he will be speaking more about the opportunities in 4IRs. I know some of you, I knew you don't know what is 4IR. So we will be speaking in detail about everything that's entailing the fourth industrial revolution. All right. So we have our guest speaker, Bilal, as I previously said. He's from IT Varsity. I read, he said that his mission in life is to really empower people through education. He is a software engineer, an educational technologist, a lecturer, an online tutor, and also an author, an entrepreneur, and also a mentor. So he's been quite an expert in this field because of he's been in the educational technology for 17 years now, which is quite great. So he has experience working with children and students from varsities. He also he says, as he would quote it, I have a unique gift of having a thorough understanding of both the technology of the world and the academic world. All right, so welcome Bilal, and thank you for giving us your time and being our host for today.
Thank you, Dineo, and thank you for giving me this opportunity, and thanks to Youth at Work. I love working with you guys because you guys really inspire me, and you're doing such great work. And you know, whenever I meet up with Erica, we have so much to talk about because I really enjoy her passion. So Dineo, before I start, I just have a question about all the wonderful guests here today. Are these all youth that have passed through the Youth at Work system?
Yes, so we have invited youth which are currently active on the program and also youth who are the alumni. So everyone else who is here has participated or is participating rather in the program.
Fantastic. This is so awesome. And I think it was such a good idea to have everybody introduce themselves in the chat because I mean, I'm looking at people from every part of South Africa and working for such amazing companies. And I'm thinking, wow, you guys are doing such great work. I mean, you've put out people in so many different places, in so many different companies. It's truly, truly inspired.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so yeah, I'll get started. Dineo, just to confirm, are you seeing the IT Varsity logo?
Yes, I'm able to see your screen.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time. I see it's such a lovely turnout. There's 115 of you. And I hope that I will be able to inspire you before you leave here today. That's my one mission here, to educate you. That is without a doubt, learn some new things, but more important, to inspire you, to get you to really think about the future of technology, all right? And your future and how the two are going to be intertwined. So as Dineo introduced me, I'm the founder of IT Varsity. If you are curious about what IT Varsity is and what we do, go and check out our website or just do a Google search for IT Varsity and then you'll find us there. All right, let's get started. Now, before I start, I have a question. Does anybody know who this guy is? This very funny looking comedian guy here. You can put it in the chat. Do you know who this guy is? That's Kabi, correct? Kabi Lane. Thanks. Arsia, you too. So Kabi Lame is a comedian on TikTok, and there's some things about him that are very noteworthy. And I'll tell you two things about him that are very, very noteworthy. Number one, he is currently holding world TikTok records in that he has the most number of TikTok followers in the whole world. I think over 150 million TikTok followers. So this guy has more TikTok followers than all of the movie stars and celebrities that you can imagine. Number one. And number two, this guy is worth 2 million US dollars. Now, by today's exchange rate, roughly 1:15, he's worth about 30 million, more than 30 million rands. Now, how did he start off? And why am I putting his picture here in the start of my presentation? The reason I'm putting his picture here is because this guy is one of the most inspiring people that I have come across on the internet. For the simple reason that when you hear his story, you also will be inspired by him. And let me tell you his story. So Kabi Lame left his home country, I think it was Nigeria, and he went to Italy to try and get a job. Like so many young North African people do, they go across the Mediterranean to Europe. But unfortunately, he couldn't get a job there because he has no qualifications, he has no skills. So he struggled. He really battled to get a job until, you know, one day he was in a state of desperation, no job prospects, no education, no money. He took his phone and he decided to start making a funny video. And he made that funny video and he put it on TikTok. Guys, from that point, he started to put videos every day and he started to build up a following. And then his followers grew and grew and grew until he clocked the TikTok world record. And he just started putting funny videos. And like some of you are saying, like Muchidzi is saying, he makes an impact without saying a word. He just does some funny actions and then he makes that face, right? He makes that face and he shows you that there's a simpler way of doing things just by his funny actions. He's hilarious. I enjoy his videos, not only because they're funny, but because they actually teach me something. Now, isn't his story inspiring? From absolute rock bottom poverty, all he used was his cell phone. That's it, just his cell phone. And he became the biggest TikTok influencer in the world. And he's worth over 30 million rands, which, if you ask me, is a very modest amount to retire on, right? I'm sure you guys agree you can retire on 30 million rands. Now, this people is the fourth industrial revolution. If you ask me what exactly is the fourth industrial revolution and what it means for you and I, then it's this guy here. The amazing opportunities that the fourth industrial revolution is creating, he understands it. But the question is, do you understand it? And I think you are by the end of this presentation. Let's move along. Now, we hear this word disruption being used wherever it comes to technology, wherever it comes to the modern world, you hear people talking about disruption. Now, what does disruption mean? Let me explain to you what disruption actually means. I'll use only 3 facts, right? Just 3 facts to explain to you what disruption is. I'm not going to give you a long description. Fact number 1, did you know the top 10 in-demand jobs this year, meaning in 2022, the top 10 jobs, the jobs that companies are really hunting for, did not exist 10 years ago. So in 2012, these jobs that companies are advertising for, they're looking for people to fulfill these jobs did not exist 10 years ago in 2012. What kind of jobs are these? Take a look at some of these, right? Machine learning engineer. Machine learning engineer. In 2012, machine learning was not even a well-known concept. But today, machine learning engineers are in big demand. Look at driverless car engineer, driverless cars. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to watch Knight Rider. It was a TV series with a car that could drive by itself. Never in our wildest imagination we would have thought that someday in the real world we have driverless cars. But today they are a reality, and there are job openings for people who will be engineers of those cars. And likewise, if you look at all of these, if you don't know what most of these mean or what some of these mean, you are forgiven, because these are completely new fields. These are completely new job descriptions that are out there that companies are looking for. All right, so fact number one, that was fact number one. Fact number two, 50% of today's jobs will not exist in 10 years' time. What does this mean? It means half of the job descriptions that people are doing today are going to fall away over the next 10 years, and they're going to be replaced by other jobs. Let me give you an example. We just spoke about driverless cars. Now in Sweden, they are testing driverless trucks. In various countries, like in Dubai, they are testing driverless drone taxis. What's going to happen to jobs, to pilot jobs, when driverless vehicles take over? I mean, Elon Musk says that in America, they're going to start introducing driverless taxis. Now, all of these jobs are going to be phased out. Drivers' jobs are going to be phased out. Truck drivers, taxi drivers, drone pilots, airplane pilots, all of these are slowly over the next decade, they're going to fall away. Now, when you think about other jobs, there are lots of other jobs that are going to be replaced by automation. Fact number three, did you know we are going to see more tech advancement in the next decade than we saw in the previous century? Whoa. Hold on. Just hold on here. More tech advancement in 10 years than we saw in an entire century in 100 years. How is that even possible? Now, guys, this is where things start to get weird. This is where things start to get really, really crazy, because we are living in the age of innovation, an age of rapid innovation, an age where innovation is happening faster than we can even keep pace with it. And this is an age which I like to call a rise of the machines, but you might know it by its more popular term, the fourth industrial revolution. So the fourth industrial revolution is what is causing this massive change. It's what's causing this rapid pace of technology, this rapid pace of innovation, so much so that in the next 10 years, we're going to see more tech advancement than we saw in the previous 100 years. But how is this possible? You might be still wondering, all right, fourth industrial revolution, but how is it possible that in 10 years, we're going to see more tech advancement in an entire 100 years? Bear with me, I'm going to explain that to you. But first, I'm going to explain to you what exactly is the fourth industrial revolution and why fourth. If there was a fourth, then obviously there must have been a first, second, and third, right? If there's a race happening and you say that a certain person came out fourth, then who came out first, second, and third? Interesting question. Now let's go and do a little history lesson. Ready? The fourth industrial revolution is actually a series, the fourth in a series of revolutions that happened over time. Let's rewind to about 300 years ago. Around 300 years ago, the steam engine was invented. And that was the start of the first industrial revolution. Why was it a revolution? It was a revolution, guys, because before the steam engine was invented, the only power that we had was muscle power. If you needed to go from place to place, if you wanted to travel from Durban to Johannesburg, you would either walk or you would go on a horse or on some other animal. Either ways, it was muscle. It was either human muscle or animal muscle. Now, the steam engine revolutionized all, because the steam engine gave rise to what? Steam-powered ships, steam locomotives, steam-powered factories. So now things changed completely. It was no more muscle power, it was steam power. Right. Fast forward to the early 20th century, around about the early 1900s, 1901, the world's population grew. Demand for goods became widespread. Trains and ships were taking these goods to all parts of the world. Now, people from everywhere could afford to buy these goods. Now, what's that going to do? Obviously, that's going to create mass demand. And mass demand means a need for mass production. So factories started producing things much faster and in much bigger volumes than ever before. So that was the first thing. The age of mass production came about. Secondly, assembly lines. If you read up about Henry Ford and how he used to build those the early Ford cars, the Model T cars, you'll know that he developed an assembly line in his factory where the entire vehicle was not built by one person or by two people, but it was built by people who would stand in a line from one side of the factory to the other. And as that car went, a certain group of people were responsible for just one thing. So for example, the one group would put on the wheels, the next group would put on the steering, the next group would fit the engine, etc., right till the other end of the factory when a complete car would emerge. And then finally, around about the early 1900s, electricity became more popular. So electric powered machines, electric powered everything suddenly became a reality, became the norm. That was early 1900s. Fast forward now to the 1960s, and suddenly we've got a new breed of machine, a machine that couldn't just do manual labor, but a machine that could do mental labor, a machine that could do brain work. And those machines were called computers. So around about the mid to late 60s, early 70s, we saw the rise of computers, and computers became small enough and cheap enough that we could buy them in our homes and our businesses. And we started using them for all kinds of work, whether it was accounting or spreadsheets or stock keeping or graphic design. Computers became the norm. They became a part of our lives, an integral part of our lives. And that gave rise to the third industrial revolution, because that was a massive revolution. Now, that third revolution kicked off then and continued until today, when it's still continuing. It hasn't stopped. We are still in the third industrial revolution. It's still the age of computers, the age of digital, the age of automation, except that computers have gotten smaller, and smaller until these are some of the most powerful computers in the world. This computer is 1,000,000,000 times more powerful. Listen to me, I'm not exaggerating here. It's 1,000,000,000 times more powerful than the first computers that sent people to the moon. Can you imagine that? But then now, around 2010, we had a new industrial revolution kicking in, which was Industrial Revolution number 4. And this was kicked off by this concept known as artificial intelligence. And that is where these computers became so intelligent, they became so advanced that they almost mimic human intelligence. In what? Human intelligence in the ability to see and recognize things, in the ability to understand speech, in the ability to speak to us, and in thousands of other abilities. So that fourth industrial revolution was powered by artificial intelligence. Secondly, it was powered by cyber physical systems. And I'll explain to you what cyber physical systems are, right? Let's not get into that right now. And finally, it was powered by networks. What kind of networks? All kinds of networks. When we talk about cellular networks, fiber networks, LAN computer networks, all kinds of these networks worked together with artificial intelligence to kick off this fourth industrial revolution. And we are living in this amazing, amazing time known as this fourth industrial revolution, where computers are doing things that we could never imagine. Never in our lives could we imagine that computers are doing these sort of things. Now, Let me explain what I mean by that. But before that, let me explain what's a cyber physical system. Okay, so I promised to explain to you what a cyber physical system was, but I'd rather show you what a cyber physical system is by means of a picture. Ladies and gentlemen, cyber physical system. So you're wondering, whoa, wait, hold on. This is a car. Yes, you're right. It is a car. But this is the Tesla Model S, an electric powered car. But more importantly, it's a self-driving car. It's a self-navigating car. This car can go from point A to point B without a driver. How does it do this? It does this because it has built-in artificial intelligence, and it is surrounded by sensors. All around this car, it's got sensors built in. So those sensors can detect what's in front of it, what's behind it, what's on the side of it. Is there a truck? Is there another vehicle? Is there a rock? Is there a human being walking? Is there a barrier? So it knows. So all these sensors pick up this information and feed it into the artificial intelligence computer. And that AI computer makes decisions. Should I slow down? Should I stop? Should I go around this obstacle? What should I do? So it makes all those decisions. And it's that AI, that artificial intelligence, that gives this car the ability to drive by itself. And that's why this is called a cyber physical system. A cyber physical system technically means a computer that works and operates and moves around in the real world. And that's exactly what this car is. It's a computer, but it is in the shape of a car and it moves around in the world. So you can go sit in the car, plot in your directions, where you want to go, fall asleep, and then when you wake up, you're at your destination. So cyber physical system. Amazing, isn't it? This is another example, guys, of the fourth industrial revolution. Let's move on, and I'll give you more examples. What is this? This is a supermarket, right? So question, what has this got to do with the fourth industrial revolution? Simple. This store has no cashiers, has no security people, has no staff. Basically, it's a store that's entirely run by artificial intelligence. How cool is that? So how does it work? You see those turnstiles at the bottom of the screen? What you do is when you walk into the store, you scan your phone on one of those turnstiles and the gate opens. The store already recognizes you. Remember, the entire store is one intelligence system. So it recognizes you, it knows who you are. And then as you walk in the store and you pick up an item and put it into your trolley, the store knows that. It knows that you've put an item in your trolley, and it also knows exactly what you put into your trolley. And immediately, let's say you pick up 2 liters of milk and you put it into your trolley, immediately on your phone, you'll see a till slip forming there. 2 liters milk, price $22.99. And if you take that milk and put it back on the shelf, you'll see that item will disappear. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Amazon Go store that is fully functional in a number of cities in America. Fourth industrial revolution, guys. A store that's entirely run by artificial intelligence. Now, before I proceed, I just want to tell you, I just want to remind you guys, if you want to put your comments and questions, please put it in the chat, because I really want to know what your thoughts are on all of this. Amazing, amazing technologies. Moving on, this is medicine of the future. This is the medical field of the future. I mean, look at that guy on the left. That's Doc McCoy from the 1960s Star Trek series. And that device he's holding in his hand used to be called, in the series, it was called a medical tricorder. It was a scanner of some sort, where you could hold that scanner up to somebody's body and scan them, and it will give you a complete diagnostic of what's wrong with that person, what disease he has. Does he have high blood pressure? Does he have any broken bones? Does he have any organs that are not functioning well? So that device was the doctor's best friend. Now, in the 1960s, that was absolute science fiction. But today, that device is actually going into production. We are going to be able to buy these devices in the next couple of years and have them at home. So if somebody's sick, if a child is sick, you just scan, and on your phone, it'll give you a complete diagnostic. And then when you look at the center panel, the upper center panel, that is the surgeon of the future. And this is already in production, where robots will be operating on people. The bottom center panel is the dentist of the future. Yes, another robot. So you're going to go to the dentist, you're going to go, the nurse is going to lead you in, come on in, ma'am, please take a seat. Next thing you know, this robot is going to come, it's going to scan your face, it's going to tell you exactly what's wrong in your mouth. And here's the best part, it will do your drilling and filling. And if you need a crown or you need a cap, it will 3D print it for you and install it right there. How cool is that? So that's the dentist of the future. And then on the right panel is the pharmacy of the future. So the pharmacy of the future is a robot again, and it would dispense medication. Right, let's put all this together. Let's put this all together, right? Let's say some of you are still young, you're parents to be, some of you are already parents. How is this going to play out in your world going forward? Let's say one day you wake up and your child says, well, mom, I'm not feeling well. You take your medical tricorder device or whatever they're going to call it, right? Let's just call it tricorder for the sake of argument. You're going to scan the child on your phone. Immediately, you're going to get a diagnostic. Child has a viral flu, need, I don't know, antibiotics. All right, so you got your diagnostic. What you're going to do is you're going to send that diagnostic to the pharmacy. The pharmacist there, the robot pharmacist, will look at the diagnostic and it will dispense the correct medication. That medication will be loaded onto a drone, a driverless drone, and that driverless drone will be dispatched to your house. And in a few minutes' time, you'll hear a notification on your phone, ding dong, the drone is here to deliver your medications. The moment you accept that medication, you get another notification that payment has gone through via your credit card. You see that? You see how all of these technologies are working together or are going to be working together as one big network, and it's going to be making your life and my life so much easier, because it's not going to be a time where you're going to need to take somebody to the doctor physically. Everything is going to be done from the comfort of your home. Amazing stuff, isn't it, guys? So there's some really great comments coming here. Chandri says, never thought I would see my childhood science fiction movies play out right in front of me. True, Chandri, it's so true. For me, I was a Star Trek fan growing up, and to see all of these technologies becoming a reality is just truly, truly amazing. Let's move on. Guys, since lockdowns, you know, schools, universities, colleges have gone more and more online. Right now, we have fully functioning, fully fledged online schools where children don't even have to leave home to study. Now, this is for city people and for wealthier people, it's a convenience. But imagine for people in the deepest of deep rural areas of Africa, the places that are hard to reach, the most underserved places where you don't get decent teachers, where you don't even have decent schools. Now, imagine what a revolution that is going to be for them when online education reaches them. Now, for me, that is the most exciting part. And that is this: the child in the most elite school in the city and the child in the most deep rural school are going to have the same education, the same level of education, no matter where they are. And that for me is the real reward of this fourth industrial revolution. And it's not something that's going to happen in the future, guys. It's already happening now. I mean, IT Varsity. Let me tell you about the kind of work that we are doing in IT Varsity. We've got people in Durban, Cape Town, Johannesburg, big cities, fantastic. Doing what? They're doing our online courses. They're doing the entrepreneur course. But at the same time, we've got kids in some of the most deep rural areas in KZN that are doing the exact same course and qualifying with the exact same skills, getting taught by the exact same teachers. See what we've done? We've leveled the playing field. It's no longer that the kids in the cities and the more well-to-do kids were at an advantage and the rural kids were down here. No more. Now the playing field is level. So it's a reality for us. It's what we're living on a daily basis. And that's why I'm so passionate personally about education. All right, so let's go through some of the other comments, some really good comments coming up here. So Tumelo says, amazing and very innovative, but my worry is the basic standard of living. How are we going to make a living if technology will take over human skills? Good question. You are a step ahead of me. I'm coming with that answer just now. So Moribodi says, isn't it scary though? I feel like humans are going to be substituted by robots everywhere. Moribodi, partially correct, but not everywhere. Bear with me. Lerato says, could this then not be a threat of job losses to our medical professionals? Chandra says, I think with everything, there are pros and cons. I think as humans, we evolve with the changes. He says, I think it's like the movie I, Robot, excellent stuff. So let's move forward. There's so many great comments. And Dina says 4IR scares me because it kind of looks great to some extent, but it actually has negative impacts to some extent. So you guys can read the rest of the comment. Now, I like this. You know why I like this? Because that is precisely the reaction that I'm trying to get out of you. I want you to feel that fear and trepidation. On one hand, there's the awe and excitement, but when you really start thinking about it, the fear comes in. Our jobs. What kind of jobs are we going to do? What kind of jobs are our kids going to do? So now that is where the next part of my presentation is going to come up. Because remember what Dineo said, I'm going to show you what opportunities there are going to be for you and I. Neo and Tabiseng says that I'm going to apply at IT Varsity. Go ahead, apply. We guys will be happy to welcome you into our family because we are preparing people for the fourth industrial revolution. Let's move on. Our homes are becoming more and more automated. You know that, guys. You're getting the concept of smart homes. Right now, I mean, I'm about 150 kilometers away from my home, but I can pick up my phone and see what's going on. I can activate my alarm. I can deactivate my alarm. I can see who's walking in my yard. I can see how my dogs are doing. So that is the smart home concept. Again, not a thing of the future, but something that's happening right now. Now, guys, I want to show you this device here on the screen. Do you know what this is? Does anybody recognize what is this device on the screen here? I've been hinting at it all along. I'm just trying to be funny here, right? This is your cell phone. You might say it's an ordinary iPhone like mine or like yours. But, you know, that's such an incorrect statement. Because really, is this ordinary? Is this really ordinary? 20 years ago, was this ordinary? It wasn't. 20 years ago, this was unimaginable. The iPhone or your current Android phones were unimaginable technology. But today, we have it in the grasp of our hands. And let me tell you something. The pinnacle of the fourth industrial revolution is this. This is where the fourth industrial revolution is really happening in the world. All right. Now that you understand that, let's go to the final part of my presentation, guys. Opportunity. Opportunity. I love this word. I love this word opportunity because it gives hope. I'm sure right now many of you are feeling that fear, that trepidation, that little bit of hopelessness, that concern about the future. But let me tell you something. The future is brighter than ever, ever, ever before. And I'm going to prove it to you. Now, how many of you remember or even know what a VCR is? A VCR, for those of you who don't know, is a video or was a video cassette recorder. It's how we watched movies when I was a kid. It was one of these big clunky devices. The thing was huge. It was a box and it was heavy. It was about this size and that high. And you would take this cassette. It was a cassette that we used to fit in a big rectangular cassette and put it into this VCR, press a rewind button. It would make this whirring noise. It would rewind and then you would play, and then it would play the movie on a TV and you would watch that movie. Now, that device at its peak was the most revolutionary device in entertainment globally. And that industry, the VCR industry, employed millions of people across the entire supply chain, from research and development to manufacturing to distribution, sales, after sales, service, repairs. You name it, millions and millions of people were employed by that industry. But what happened to VCRs? They completely disappeared off the face of the earth. Around about the late 80s, early 90s, along came CDs, and then DVDs, and then Blu-ray, and then recently streaming. Because personally, I don't even know when last I saw a DVD or a Blu-ray disc, because now everything is streamed. You've got Netflix, you've got Apple TV, you've got Disney Plus, you've got a whole slew of streaming services, and you can make your choice from there. So from the VCR age to the streaming age, what happened to all of those technologies? Simple answer, they disappeared. But here's a big question. What happened to those millions of people that worked in these industries? Answer, they all died of starvation. Their children died. They died horrible deaths because their jobs were taken away. False. That is an absolute lie. I just lied to you. None of them died. None of them died of starvation. None of them went unemployed. None of them lost their jobs, and that was it. They transitioned from those technologies into other technologies. And that's how technology works. You move from one technology to another. So we evolve. It's like Chandra said earlier, we evolve from one technology to the other, to the other, to the other. And right now we are at an inflection point, and we are about to evolve into the next level of technology. So whereas this tech is going to take lots of opportunities away, it's going to take lots of jobs away, trust me when I tell you, it's creating even more opportunities. And now I'm going to give you some actual examples, real world examples. I don't want to give you pie in the sky examples. I don't want to give you examples of Elon Musk and what he's doing with Tesla and with SpaceX, because you might think to yourself, well, that's out of my reach. I can't do what Elon Musk is doing. Not many people can do. That's why he is Elon Musk. What is it? What's in it for me as an individual? So now I'm about to tell you that. But before I do, I just want to go back to some of your comments. So Arthur says, I am more concerned about resources. It's good that we are likely going to be dependent on machinery services, but which of our world resources will exhaust first to keep our technology powered up? Arthur, brilliant, brilliant question. The answer to that is, in the early 1900s, there was a massive fear that machines are going to replace human beings and the world's resources are going to run out by the middle of the century. We are gone almost 75 years past that point, and we're still going strong with our resources. And Tabi Singh says, we already know the advantages of 4IR, but what are the disadvantages except job losses? This session is so interesting. Thanks, Nabi Singh. I appreciate the comment. Are there any opportunities for self-taught programmers? And BN Kabinde says that. Yes, join us at IT Varsity. There's lots of free courses there. We've got a whole community, and you can join us. I like what Yunareen is saying, that we need to always upskill ourselves. Now that is the crux. Yunareen, you understand the crux of my presentation. We need to be up to date all the time. But let's get into those opportunities, because you're probably itching to know what they are. And plus, I'm running out of time. Opportunity number one, fourth industrial revolution. What? There's a picture of a pizza on my screen. What has this got to do with the fourth industrial revolution? Well, let me tell you a story. I was approached about 3 years ago by a family where the main breadwinner, the father, was working in a takeaway as a manager, and he was retrenched. And so they came up to me and said, look, we are helpless. What are we going to do? Because our sole breadwinner is now out of a job, and we don't know what's the way forward. Can you maybe, help him to get a job? So I said to them then, listen to this. I said to them then, guys, don't worry about getting a job. What I recommend is you start your own business. And they were like, oh, wait, we don't have enough money to start a business. You need hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to start a business. I said, no, you don't. What you do is, and I asked the wife, what do you do best? What about your cooking people like best? She says, well, I make good pizzas, and everybody tells me wonderful things about my pizzas. So I says, well, start there. Start making pizzas at home. So the next question is, well, who's going to buy my pizzas? We don't have a market. I mean, there's Debonairs, and then there's this pizza parlor, that pizza parlor. How are we ever going to compete with them? Now, I said to them, see, don't worry about the competition. You do what you do best. And how are you going to reach a market? Well, that's very simple. You've got potentially hundreds of millions of people right in your hands, right here. Use technology. And so I guided them along. What you do is you start making these pizzas, you take photos of them, and you put them on social media, you put them on WhatsApp, find out where are your community groups on WhatsApp, and start punting this. And get started in this way. So they started in a little kitchen, and they were making these pizzas, and lo and behold, they started getting orders. And 6 months down the line, they says, you know what? We are so busy, we can't even cope. So they started to employ people. They employed 1, and then 2, and 3, and now I think they've got about 6 or 7 people working for them. And they've set up this huge kitchen in the backyard where they only make pizzas. They've got these long tables. They've got rows and rows of freezers. They've got this massive gas-powered pizza oven, and they are doing a thriving business. About a year ago, they went for an overseas holiday. How cool is that, guys? All from unemployed, using technology to become self-employed. Can you see that? Can you blame technology? Did technology enable them, or did technology disadvantage them? Simple answer. Technology enabled them. Next, I interviewed a young lady about, was it 2.5, 3 years ago. And she does something really amazing. She goes to the streets in Durban and she buys secondhand clothing off the streets. You know, these ladies sit by the street and by the pavement, and they sell secondhand clothing. So she buys those. And then she takes them home, she washes them, and she puts them out, she lays them down, she takes beautiful photos using a very, very expensive camera, which comes for free with your cell phone. And then she puts those on Instagram. And she puts a markup. So she'll buy a shirt, for example, for 10 Rand, and she'll put it up on Instagram for 50 rands. She says, it took me about a year to 2 years to get my business going. But right now, she told me then, this was about 3 years ago. She says, right now, whatever items I put in the morning, by evening, those items are sold out. By evening, they are completely sold out. And people wait for my post to come out in the morning so they can quickly press buy and they can buy my items before they get sold out. And she said something else that was truly amazing. She says, I make more money on my Instagram business than I make in my full-time job right now. Guys, again, fourth industrial revolution. Any complaints? You see where the fourth industrial revolution is going? You see where people are using it to empower themselves? That's where we're going. Now, you guys know what this is, right? These are those glass bead jewelry that you find people selling in mostly the tourism areas like Durban. Now, when I see these people, when I see these ladies standing out in the sun the whole day in the hot sun, preparing these little animals and the little jewelry items, the necklaces and the bracelets, I think to myself, if only these people use their cell phones and went online with their businesses. You don't need an expensive learning or e-commerce system. You don't need a website. If you've got WhatsApp, if you've got Instagram, you're in business. Take photos of these things and mark them up. Put the price much higher than you would if you were selling it on the street, because you're selling to a global market now in dollars. How much of money would they make if they only learned from that girl that I interviewed who's selling secondhand clothing, guys, not even brand new clothing? Who would imagine there's a market online for secondhand clothing? Amazing, isn't it? Let me tell you yet another story, and I'm going to conclude just now. So a friend of mine, he's a business development expert, he's a business mentor and a coach. He says, a couple of years ago, I needed some painting to be done in my house. And I hired this one painter who came in and he did an amazing job. He really did such a good job. And when he was done with the job, I said to him, you must be very busy. You must be doing very well because you're such a good painter. He says, no, I'm not doing well. I make about 4,000 rands a month and I'm suffering. I'm unemployed. So he says, you can't have those kinds of skills and still be unemployed. So he says, well, look, let me help you. I'm a business development expert. I'm a business coach. Let me help you. So over the next 3 months, what he did was, the business coach, what he did was, he helped this painter take his services online. So he took his services to WhatsApp and to social media, where the guy would paint something and then they would take a photo and they would post it to social media or post it to Facebook or Instagram. He says the guy went from 4,000 rands a month to 100,000 rands a month. Yes, you heard correctly, 100,000 rands a month in 3 months. How cool is that? Using what? Again, technology. Now, guys, these examples that I used might not be in line with your career goals. They might not be in line with your current profession. But my objective here was not to derail you. It was not to tell you that these specific industries is where you should be. My objective is something completely different. It's to tell you that these are people in some most unlikely industries who have leveraged technology to do very well for themselves. Why can't you? So no matter what you want to be, if you want to be an accountant or an attorney or an engineer or a doctor or a dentist, no matter what you want to be, why can't you use technology to enhance your career? The answer is simple. You can use technology. That taxi driver who's going to lose his job to a self-driving vehicle, why doesn't he buy himself a self-driving vehicle and let that do the job for him or buy 2 or 3 self-driving vehicles, let those do the driving for him while he sits at home and does something, whatever he wants to do. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, there are certain jobs that are going to disappear. There are people who are going to lose their jobs, but we need to empower ourselves to understand where the trends are going with technology and step into those trends. Simple as that. It's not difficult, guys. It's not rocket science. Technology is there for you and I to use. Have you sent an email? Have you put a social media post? Have you sent a WhatsApp message? Have you played a video game? Yes, then you know technology. Then you know 90% of technology. Yes, you are probably not an AI expert. You're not probably not a coder, but you know technology. You know how to use this technology. So you are already at a very, very big advantage. So guys, that is my message to you today. My message is this: go out there, empower yourselves with knowledge of technology, and don't be afraid. Fourth industrial revolution is a tidal wave. It's already here. It's not coming in the future. It's already here. But you are the people who are going to leverage it. Instead of being afraid of it, you're going to leverage it. And I'll leave you with an analogy. When you sit at the beach, I mean, I'm a Durban boy, so I know about this. When you sit at the beach and you see these giant rolling waves coming, we that are sitting on the shore, we become afraid. Wow, these waves are so scary. But that surfer who is right there in the water on his surfboard, he is looking forward to those waves. And what happens when the waves come? He jumps on his surfboard and he rides those waves. And then you see, wow, this guy is having the time of his life. I wish that I could do what he is doing, because when he goes above him, he goes under it and he curves over him and he rides in that wave tunnel. Amazing, amazing skill to have. But yet we on the shore are afraid. Now that's where you are. You are the people on the shore right now. What you need to do is dive into that ocean of technology, dive into that ocean of the fourth industrial revolution, and your knowledge, your skill, your foresight into the future is going to be your surfboard. And you're going to use that to ride this wave of the fourth industrial revolution. So you need to empower yourself. Guys, I'm going to stop there and I'm going to go back into your comments. I love these comments. This is such a responsive audience. I'm really enjoying myself. But in the meantime, here are my social media handles. Please follow me. Don't take a photo of this with your phone. I know you know how to use these phones and take photos. Please go to social media and follow me right now. Right now. I'm waiting. Have you followed me? Good. All right. Let's go back to these lovely, lovely comments here. Right. Where were we? So Galaxy Tab A with S Pen. Sorry, I just found that funny. You didn't put your name there. Question: what are we? So what we are studying now, you mean is going to be useless after 10 years? Not after 10 years, guys. After 2 years. Think about it. Your state-of-the-art, up-to-date phone is going to be outdated in a year's time, right? iPhone 13. Wow, I just paid 17,000 rands for iPhone 13. Next year, iPhone 14 is out. So it's not 10 years, guys. It's 2 years. Mabato says, I'm worrying about people who struggle to adjust to these technologies. A perfect example is our parents are struggling to use smartphones. Guys, Mabato, if your parents are struggling, take some time out, go and teach them. I know people, I mean, old people who are doing exceptionally, exceptionally well with cell phones. They're doing all kinds of businesses. Someone told me of an old lady who makes pickles and bottles them and sells them online. Everybody can do it. Youth at work, I think this is Dineo saying, hi Bilal, I will request everyone to complete the attendance survey just 5 minutes before we close off. Chandray says, the previous generation will hopefully be died out by the time 4IR is in full swing. Not said in a negative way, but like I mentioned before, we evolve if we want to. Look, I don't want to think of a worst case scenario like that, but this much I can tell you, the tech is there for everyone to use. Old and young, it's there for everyone. So Dineo has put the link. Guys, please go into the Survey Monkey link and fill in the survey. P. Sambu says from my side, I think they must create a way to introduce or rather teach people how to use these resources. Of course, that's what IT Varsity is here for. And by the way, we have a brand called CompuKids, which teaches kids at schools how to use technology the right way, not the wrong way. Spamandla says, what a wonderful session it is. Very informative. Thank you so much. An absolute pleasure, Spamandla. Thank you for being here and for your kind comment. Lonwabo says, today we have a fantastic session. Thank you so much. So there's lots of beautiful comments coming and I appreciate it. Yeah, so many of you are saying, are giving me such kind words. I really appreciate it. But listen, guys, your true appreciation for this session is that you go out today and you start learning something new about technology. Even if it means go and watch a YouTube video about, I don't know, digital marketing. Go and learn something, get yourself clued up with technology. And really, South Africa needs to ride this wave. There's so much more I want to tell you about, but we are out of time. We have just 1 minute left. Thank you, guys. Dinayo, back to you. And once again, thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Bilal. That was indeed profound. And I was really empowered. And I just believe that everyone else was motivated. And then they now know what 4IR is all about because of it's a world of opportunities. I believe now, I feel like we're living in a world of superpowers, really. It's really great to see such great transformation being done over the years. And also, I'd like to request that everyone else please complete the attendance survey. I've posted it on the chat box. Please make sure that you complete it before you leave the session. All right. And thank you so much for joining in. I'm not sure if there's anyone else who has a question, a comment.
I have a comment, guys. Dinayo, there's 141 people in this session, but I don't have 141 new friends on Facebook or Instagram. I'm looking.
Please follow
so
Bilal.
Where are my friends?
They will be following you soon, I believe. All right. Without any questions, I see comments. People are very thankful. Yeah. I see Sibulele saying this is what he's going to study for. This is great. Thank you so much for that. All right. I'm gonna request everyone else, or before I close off, Yunarin, do you have a questions? Maybe we can take 1 more minute and then we close off. We don't have time on our side. All right, I'll request that everyone else please open your videos so that we can say goodbye to one another, and I'll take a photo. Open your videos, people.
Wow, so many beautiful people here today.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, bye everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. Bye.
Bye.
Bye everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye.